Mike McCool here in the Royal Examiner studio, and with me today are the new ladies from the library. Normally we see Macau and Erin, and of course Erin Rooney is now the new director, which is great. I think she's probably overwhelmed now taking it on, but she's great. She'll get it, right?
Yeah, she's constantly busy, but I'm really excited.
Yeah, good. This is Grace Green, and this is Joan Grewe, right?
That's right.
We've never had Joan in the studio before, and I asked her what she does, and she says, well, I'm just a volunteer. So we're going to talk about all the things that Joan does, but let's start with Grace. And first of all, we have something here laying on the table, so hopefully it's not a distraction, but we're going to show you what it is because it's really cool. So just keep watching so you'll find out what this is. All right? See, we tease them.
A teaser,
all right.
yes.
So what is happening in March, which is like tomorrow?
Oh my gosh, is it really?
I know.
This month is going by so fast, but March has a lot of things going on. So March 2nd, we have the day of Unplugging for the board game festival.
That's right. We were the other day. Krista and Celeste were in. We talked about what the Warren Coalition is doing, and we mentioned tons of stuff at the library. So like, lots of stuff.
Oh yeah, it's.
It'd be wild.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it. This one is, the Global Day of Unplugging. And also, later on in the month, we're having a game night for adults. So if you don't want to go to like the age-friendly, everyone can go on the 2nd. But if you're like, maybe I don't want to be with a bunch of kids, you can do it with adults.
So, old kids.
Older kids. On March 27th at 6 p.m., but also for March 23rd, we're doing Easter Extravaganza, and that's going to be in Gertrude Miller Park. And that we're going to have the Easter Bunny there.
And where is that park at? Right next to the library? Do you know?
No.
Oh my gosh, here they got something and she don't even know where it is. Shame on you.
See, the thing is, I don't know where anything is.
That's what happens when you don't grow up in Warren County in Front Royal, right? They changed the name of we're going to put the location where it is. That's okay. I'm just giving you a hard time.
My location is turn right at the Brown Cow, so that's how I do things. I don't know names of anything.
All right, okay.
But also, a really cool event is going to be happening. We're going to have a solar eclipse happening April 8th.
Yes, I've been reading about that.
Yes, I'm so
excited. They're going to do an event around it?
Yes, we are going to have a talk on March 30th, so a couple days before, and we'll be letting you know all the cool things about the eclipse. So those three things, the Day of Unplugging, Easter Extravaganza, and the eclipse, are all ages.
Okay.
But for the teens, I was specifically told to highlight the Teens Connect happening March 9th. And that's because this Teens Connect, we're going to be learning about graphic design. So you'll be learning.
Good.
Yeah.
Yes, that's great.
So you'll be learning how to do art online, which is a lot of people do nowadays.
Oh, yes. That Canva is a great thing. They've been using that. Replace it. Of course, everyone thinks they're an artist, but it's still, there's a skill involved. It takes a while to learn it. And, but, this helps. It's great.
Mm-hmm. And on the adult side, you could do more art stuff.
Sure.
We have photography and beyond for wildflowers.
Mm-hmm.
So the first part of it, you're learning to identify the flowers and figuring out good places to go.
Sure.
And then they send you out and then give you tips on how to do it.
Right.
And of course, this is with Sharon Fisher, who's an amazing photographer.
It's amazing. You think you just point the camera and push the button, but it's just learning how to frame what you're looking at and looking beyond because the camera doesn't see what you see.
Mm-hmm.
It only looks at what you pointed at. And it's a great skill to learn because once you learn it, all of a sudden your pictures look so much better. So it's always great to go to one of these classes and kind of get the tips from the experts.
Exactly.
And nowadays, when I was growing up, we had film and it was expensive. So we only took when we got married 50 some years ago, the photographer took 12 pictures. That was it. 12 pictures. I shot a wedding one time. I took 300 pictures. So, things have changed over the years. And now with digital cameras, don't be afraid to take a lot of pictures and then just pick out the best ones.
Yeah, that's
what
perfect.
That's what you do.
But also, if you do have film, pictures that you want to have digitized,
Right.
we do have the memory lab.
Yes.
So you can bring those in, and we can update those for you. So you don't have to just look at the film. You can
Right.
actually have a nice
Yes,
image, and you can
yes.
show people.
I tell people all the time, they bringing in their VHS tapes or something. I said,
Yes.
go to the library. You can sit there and do it yourself. They'll show you how to do it, and it's free.
We have a whole station about that.
Oh, yes.
And let's see, talking about that, we also have pain management on March 21st. So I'm going to read directly from here.
Okay.
Join us for a health workshop led by Christopher. Ooh, I'm going to butcher this name. I'm so sorry. Massino.
Okay. Well, he'll know what it is.
Yeah, he'll know the name. I'm sure he knows his name. He can correct me. But he is an orthopedic clinical specialist with over 30 years of clinical expertise and experience.
There you go.
And so this doctor will explain the role, biology, and neurology of pain and cover the management, recovery, and treatment for acute and persistent pain.
Well, sometimes there's little tricks. And the one thing you want to learn, like when you got pain in your hip, take your wallet out of your pocket and quit sitting on it. That makes, trust me, that's one of the first, you carry a wallet? That's all right.
Yep, so
You got a lot of stuff.
I do. Well,
we're going to put the link to, there's a list, and you keep it updated online. You click on that down at the bottom of the store, and you'll see tons and tons of stuff. Let's get over to Joan.
yes.
Yeah,
Joan-
one of the things that's not on the calendar is that the library has lots of opportunities for different volunteer groups
Right.
to meet at the library for free. And one of the groups I'm involved with is the Sewing Sisters and Brother.
Right.
Don't forget, we got one guy.
You got one guy?
I
That's
got one
okay.
guy. Every Friday from 10 to 12, we meet in group room A because we have big tables and lots of electrical outlets for people that have sewing machines.
Sure.
And we always have an extra sewing machine. And everybody's welcome to come in and ask for advice or learn how to do something. So early last summer, we decided we needed to do something for the library to thank them for
Right.
giving us that free space. And since some of the ladies were learning how to quilt, my friend Lorette and I,
Right.
who are both master quilters, decided that we would put together a library quilt. And we would assign everybody a block, a 10 by 15 or 10 by 10 block to make books. And then we'd sew it all together into bookshelves. And then we're going to donate it to the library for their annual fundraiser, Taste for Books, on April 24th.
Right.
And this
We
will
have-
be in
we
the
have this
silent
quilt.
auction.
This is a queen size quilt.
Yes.
We tried to fold it up and see if we could get it on the camera, but we're going to cheat. We're just going to show you one little small section. So we're going to hold this up, and we're going to point out some of the things. We're going to cover up Grace here.
Yes.
All right. Grace, you hold it up in the middle.
So the books, this is the wood, and this is the
Right.
metal shelf, just like Sandwich Public Library.
Right.
The books on their spines have words, just like
oh, yeah.
some of the
yeah,
words
right.
are from
Hercules over here.
the
right,
salvage of,
right.
of the fabric. This was something that was embroidered on an embroidery machine. Words. So every book is different. So you really need to look at the entire quilt. It's
Right.
very interesting.
Okay.
And all the fabric came from our stash.
Right.
Women that sew
Sure,
and men.
sure. You always
They
have a
always have
stash.
extra fabric,
Yeah,
extra
this
stash.
is so cool. A queen size, too. So this is going to go in the silent auction.
Silent auction.
It'll go. You'll raise some money on this.
I'm certainly hoping because
Right.
we had a lot of people help put it together.
There's a lot of hours and things like this.
Yes, we started
Yeah.
last summer and finally finished it this week. This week.
So, and I can already feel there's a lot of love in this too.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's what makes it so special. But these are kind of cool. So this is the kind of the volunteer work you do at the library?
I also work in the children's garden along with my friends from the Shenandoah Herb Society.
Okay.
So we go in every spring, clean everything out. The library provides extra dirt.
Right.
And then we come back late spring and plant herbs so that in the children's garden, you can touch and taste everything that's in the wedges. It's either medicinal or culinary, so
Right.
that the kids don't have to worry about doing
I
something.
like the way you just pulled that word right
I had
out.
to think about that for a second.
I was thinking nutritional, but I don't know.
Culinary.
Culinary. That's a great word. But let's go back to the sewing thing. This is a lost art. I don't think my wife did a lot of sewing. In fact, go back to our 50-some years ago, she sewed her wedding dress.
Oh my
She
gosh.
sewed all the bridesmaid dresses. And of course, I had one of the, back then I had a blue shirt with all the flare. That was in the 70s, 19th. Anyway, but that's a lost art. And now she's into knitting and crocheting and stuff, which is another lost art. But these are things, this sewing is something that, like this couple generations that just stopped sewing,
And it's wonderful. We have quilters. I'm a sewer first. I made my wedding dress and all my bridesmaids' dresses.
It's a new word. They're not. We used to call them seamstress. Now they're called sewers. Sewist. I was watching on YouTube. Sewist.
But we do have a couple ladies that just come and knit or crochet and chat, and share their experiences and teach some of the younger people things.
Yeah.
I'm a younger person.
Are you getting any really young teenage type coming in?
No, because we meet on Friday morning, and they're pretty much
Maybe
in
some
school.
Homeschoolers, yeah.
Yeah, but
that's a great lot. We ought to think about starting a sewing class that's probably one of the few things you don't do at the library.
That is true.
That might be something. I think it's a great lost art, and these little things like this helps keep these things alive, and people do appreciate. And I think you'll see lots of bids on this quilt at the
I'm hoping
Tasting
so.
Books. Yes, that's great.
Yeah, it's a bookshelf.
It's the library. It is the Samuels Public
So
Library.
Let's talk something else about the sewing sisters and brother.
So
What else do you do there? I mean, just kind of, we want to encourage people to show up.
Well, we'll talk about our sewing brother. He went and bought a sewing machine at Goodwill for $35.
Right.
And he went online, he figured out how to oil it and maintain it, but he didn't know how to sew. So he came to our group. He hems his pants, he tailors his shirts. He made a lining for his motorcycle helmet.
Oh,
So he's doing some really cool things, and we have taught him along the way. We've got people that come in and say, I want to make a T-shirt quilt for my granddaughter, but I have no idea what I'm doing. And we helped them work through that.
Yeah.
So
it reminds me, I'm telling on my wife, so she never watches these things, so that's okay. But, she was knitting for a couple, 3 or 4 years, and she was watching these YouTube videos, and she did a lot of hats and things like, something like that, and she could whip them out. And this young lady was on there, and she was showing sweaters and everything. It's kind of like what you're talking about, sewing. And she said, I've been knitting about 2 years, and I decided, and my wife said, what? 2 years and you did that? And I've been doing 4 years, and I don't dare try to make a sweater, So she said, well, she just turned the channel to the let's make a sweater video, and that's all she's doing now, sweaters and all sorts of stuff. She said, if they can do it after 2 years, I can surely do it. And I think that's what we're going to say about your sewing class. Hey, you can do it. It's not.
Oh, yeah. We can help you do it.
Yeah.
And we always have an extra machine if you just want to come in and just sew a few straight seams and see if you like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sewing is, like you say, a lot of things. How about, I'm going to throw out a word, serging.
Yeah. I'm not a serger.
All right. But that goes back when you're sewing, when you can learn to serge around the edges and stuff, it makes your garments look so much better, doesn't it? But she doesn't serge. So.
No, but I have a high-end domestic machine that has a serger capability.
Oh, well, there you go.
Ooh.
Yeah, I
See
also
that?
collect vintage and antique sewing machines. So sometimes I'll bring in one of my period pieces that doesn't need electricity.
I was going to say,
that's
it's
always
got
a lot of fun.
A treadle on it, and she sat there and pumps it.
Or a hand crank.
Oh my gosh, that's really old then.
Yeah.
Yeah. She said it wasn't hers, it was a period piece. She's not something she grew up with, right?
That's right. I do have my grandmother's treadle, though. That's
great.
what I first started on.
Well, I
was
tell you
her
what,
treadle.
we talk a lot about all the activities at the library, but it's more than just books.
That is true.
And that's one of our cut lines there. We like to say more than just books. Tons of stuff going on, lots of activities. And Grace, I appreciate you coming in. And Joan, nice meeting you. Hope we don't
Nice to
scare
meet
you
you.
other You'll come back again and bring some of your other volunteer friends.
Okay.
I think we should.
We'll bring you some herbs.
Yeah, we ought to do that. Maybe come into some, other than and tell McCall she can, take a couple months off and we'll
Well,
get
the
some.
children's garden really is hers.
Well, it is. She
Yeah.
loves that stuff. She loves that, and that seed garden. That's a cool thing too.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, yeah. So if you don't know anything about that, check it out at the library. There's tons of stuff. Show up, get a library card, and check out all the services that they have at the library. So we will see you again maybe in 2 or 3 weeks, and we'll talk about April.
Yes.
Is that all right?
That sounds perfect.
All right. Thanks so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mike.
you.